Hello and welcome. Today I want to talk to you about the pros and cons of running DeepSeek locally compared to in your browser. So, most of you know I suffer with dyslexia and ADHD. So, I've been using AI tools for the past year, probably longer. I currently have ChatGPT Plus. However, that's not the $200 plan where you get the agents, but you do get tasks and they're pretty neat to play around with. However, when DeepSeek, and then I also have Claude. So I have those two are my main two, go-to tools to create content. So things that I do on a daily basis, I'm constantly in these two um, tools to make the daily content. What used to take me back in 2016 used to take me a week, maybe longer to do is now taking me literally hours to do as far as content creation. And excuse me, my voice is kind of hoarse. I've been doing other videos today, but I just wanted to get this out so you would have an understanding for as simple as possible, for the everyday person that doesn't know the technical stuff behind it, just as simple as possible. And I'll try to explain it to you in that fashion. So, I currently have those 2, and as soon as DeepSeek came out, I believe last week, Monday, I tried downloading it. I was even driving, and I was hitting, trying to install it on my smartphone. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do it. I had to play around with a few different methods. I even went to Reddit to find this and that, and they had all these different remedies for it. Unfortunately, it didn't work for me, but the following day I was able to do it and install it, and everything worked great. However, that following evening, while I was using it both on mobile and desktop, I did hit limits that were saying, okay, you've reached your limit, wait till tomorrow and you can try again. Now, I don't know if this was due to the cyber attack or if I used up my tokens. But now that I've did this research inside of ChatGPT and asked it the benefits, the pros and cons of running DeepSeek locally, because that's what I'm thinking now. If I can save $40 a month by paying, $20 to Claude, $20 to GPT, using this for my needs, if it helps me with what I need, then that's a plus. So I asked ChatGPT what um the benefits are to running it local, because I talked to a few friends and they're saying, hey, run it local, man. You ain't got to worry about the privacy issues and all that. So that's a plus. But I wanted to know what I was losing and what I was gaining. So it doesn't look like I'm going to be gaining anything by running it locally. I'm just going to be losing. So let's go over this real quick and I won't keep you guys long. So the benefits of running DeepSeek lo- locally is the privacy and security. So we know our information's not going to China now, and then they do whatever they can do with it. So that's the plus. And then the second thing is offline access. So if for some reason your internet's down or something, you can still go in and access the DeepSeek. And the only bad thing is, well, let's continue on. So, yeah, you can access it even without an internet connection. And then the third, faster response. So, depending on the device, so if you install it on like a laptop that doesn't have much resource, you might not see a difference compared to you installing it on like a gaming PC that has a lot of cores and a lot of, resources to power the library, so to speak, or database. So that's the difference there. And then no usage limits or API restrictions. Like I said, I did run into that on the second day or the first day that I was actually to gain access to the actual model. I did hit some limits towards the end of the evening. For some reason, it told me you've reached your limit. Try back tomorrow, and this uh, I don't know if it was due to a cyber attack or what, but it does make sense that, they have to put a limit on what you're using with their servers and all that. So that was another issue. And then the fifth one here, customizable and extendable. Many local AI models allow fine tuning and modification or integration into custom workflows. can be paired with other local tools like vector databases and personalized search capabilities. Of course, I don't know much about customizing stuff like that. But let's go down. Here's where it gets into the limitations of running DeepSeek locally. Lack of real-time web search. So this was what I do mostly. I mean, 90% of the time I'm searching for my products, like binaural beats is what I'm working on now, and I like to have the latest access. So whatever's updated in real time. And if I were to install DeepSeek locally, I may not get that information. In fact, I probably won't because there's a cutoff. So it goes on to explain most local AI models do not have live access to the internet, meaning they cannot pull real time data the way a browser based AI can. If research depends on the latest news, stock prices, real time events, or up to date academic papers, the local model might not be sufficient. Limited knowledge cutoff. Local models are only as good as their last training data. So if DeepSeek local version has a cutoff of 2023 or earlier, it won't know anything beyond that unless you manually update it. And unfortunately, like I said, I don't know much coding, so I don't think I'll be manually updating it. However, we will look at installing it here in a second on Llama. I'll walk you through. And I'm still on the fence with this. I don't know if I'm going to continue to use it in the browser or, just install it um, on a device. So the hardware requirements, we talked about that. You need a strong, the more probably information you want, the larger computer or the more resources you need to get the more information. Sort of like a Encyclopedia Britannica, you may just only get one letter of that encyclopedia volume compared to the whole encyclopedia based on your resources. So, and then no proprietary enhances. Many cloud based AI models have proprietary enhancements, DeepSeek optimized interface, cloud acceleration, or extra knowledge source. So, you don't get any of that you would get in a browser. The local version may be more limited in its reasoning and summarizations and contextual accuracy. So, you are getting a trade-off here from running it in your local machine. So let's see what ChatGPT said. Should you run DeepSeek locally? If privacy offline access and controls are your top and controls are your top priority, running it locally makes sense. However, if your work depends on real-time research, web access, or cutting-edge information, the version will be far superior. So again, I'm still on the fence. I don't know, as of this point, I haven't installed it, but I will show you real quick how you can gain access to it if you want to run it local, maybe just to play around with it. But I think, what is it called? Olama. Yeah. And I believe Facebook owns this and it's open source. I don't know. Don't quote me, but I don't even think you have to create an account, but you can just come here and go to this Olama and then click on this. And this allows you to see, I guess, the different models that you're able to download. I'm not really sure about this. As I said, I haven't ran it, but I'm sure it's not too hard to run. As for me, I'm still using this on a separate Google account that I have that's just, it doesn't have none of my banking stuff or any of that stuff for privacy reasons. So that's a little bit in my, mind keeping me a little safe, having it on a separate account where I don't do much. It's maybe a little layer of protection. However, it's not as secure as running it locally. But then again, there we see the trade-offs. If we run it locally, we don't get access to real-time information, and that may be a something you guys really need. And as far as me, I really need the most accurate research when I'm doing stuff that I'm doing. So I hope this was helpful as I couldn't find any information on the actual pros and cons of these two, options, the browser based option and the local option. So if you like this, I'd appreciate it if you guys would like and subscribe as I try to help you guys in any way I can. And thank you and have a great day.